Welcome to the Can't Stop the Growth podcast, the home service podcast dedicated to personal and leadership development. I'm your host, Chad Peterman, and if you're ready to grow as a leader, you've come to the right place. Let's jump in. Today we're going to talk about 5 steps to build your growth plan. So I talked about this with some of the other groups as we went through, and it's really, the hope would be is that you are able to take what we've constructed for the company, and you can do that for your own life. Think about it, okay? They're looking 3 years into the future. Have you looked 3 years into your future? Where do you want to be in 3 years? What's that look like from a personal standpoint, from a health standpoint? We just got done talking about that. From a career standpoint, what does that look like? And how much power could you put behind getting to where you want to get if you were to take the time to write it down and to reflect on it each and every day about what it is that you need to do today in order to get where it is that you want. The majority of people, as you well know, in this world, just allow life to kind of happen to them. Whatever happens today is whatever happens. Whereas once you get real clear on where it is that you want to go, all of a sudden you take complete control of your life, regardless of what happens on the outside. Think about if you knew exactly where you were going to go 3 years from now, would a bad day seem as bad as a bad day seems now? Probably not. Because a bad day would just be an opportunity to learn something or to face a new challenge. And don't get me wrong, crappy stuff happens, right? There's stuff that happens in all of our lives that it's, like, God, well, what am I supposed to learn from this? A family member passes away or, someone gets sick or something like that. Like, that stuff's going to happen. And I'm not here to tell you that if you write down your plan, nothing bad will ever happen. There's going to be things that happen. But knowing that bad things will happen, yet my plan is to get here. And while this bad thing is happening, and I don't expect you to either, like, what do you want me to learn from someone in my family getting sick or, a grandparent passing away or something like that? Well, okay, there may not be something to learn, but knowing that, hey, this happens, things are going to happen, and we've got to get through it, as opposed to dwelling on how bad a situation is, how bad circumstances, how bad this, whatever it may be, understanding that depending on your perspective, you are either always moving forward or you're staying stagnant or you're moving backwards. And so what I want to talk about today are, again, 5 steps that you can think about as you build that plan for yourself, build that plan for your career. Here are 5 things that you can reflect on to hopefully help you move forward in that plan. So first up is show up. Well, lucky for you guys, what a great example. You showed up this morning. Didn't have to. Could have slept in. Could have showed up and no one would have thought the difference. But you made the commitment to be here this morning. I oftentimes think about a quote, and I don't know, I wish I could attribute it to somebody. Somebody said this, playing sports through high school and college, and, there was a quote that said, when you're not practicing or getting better, someone else in the world is, and when you meet, you will likely lose to them. And so I thought about that a lot of, oh God, I don't want to really wake up and go on a run or do this or do that. But in sports, it's competition, and you're going to face somebody that how much work did you put in? I've watched a lot of big on like sports documentaries and all of that stuff. And the one, I'm not a huge like music person. Like I can't sing you a song or do anything like that. But watching some of those documentaries on Netflix and watching the amount of work that those people put in. One of my favorites is Kobe Bryant. I was never a Kobe Bryant fan. I was more a LeBron fan. But after his passing, it was like that they started rolling out all of these documentaries and different stuff like that. There's the one, what's it called? The Redeem Team, I think. And it's when they're talking about when he joined with all the superstars and they had lost, and then they went and won the gold medal. But it just talks about the amount of work that he put in. And it's like, oh my God, like, well, there's a reason why he is or was as good as he was, because he put in all the work. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Like, really? Well, then how much work did he need to put in to be what he ended up being? And so I think that it's important to understand that when we set big goals, we have to also understand and get really comfortable with the amount of work that it's going to take to get where we want to get. You've probably heard people in the past, set big goals and then their actions tell you something completely different. Like, huh? Like what? I'm going to lose 30 pounds. Then why are you exactly eating that? Like you just got to understand, like, when you set that goal, it's important to, as you track it back to day one, what is the amount of work that I'm going to need to put in? When we wrote this Vivid Vision, you look at that and you're like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we have to do. But what I can tell you, and where I've failed in the past, is it's very easy to be very, very motivated. And everybody knows this, very, very motivated that first month, right? So like January, like I've looked at it every day. I've been talking to people about it. Like I feel like I'm just going all the way. Like this is going to be great. Well, typically in the past, that fades real quick, right? Because you can't sustain that amount of work. So I was talking earlier about, my exercise plan. Like it's not going to like wow anybody, right? 20 minutes a day. Get up, get on the bike. 20 minutes is like the amount of time that I have agreed with myself that is like I can pull myself out of bed to do 20 minutes on the bike. Some days I work a little harder than others, depending on how I'm feeling, but 20 minutes, that's what I need, because consistency wins out every single day. If you're going to, start a new workout plan, I wouldn't advise, day one, 4 hours in the gym. Like you can't sustain that. It's very, very difficult. You may be able to do it for a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, but sustaining that, because what happens? Life gets in the way, right? Stuff's going to happen. And so where is that, for me, 20 minutes, when I agreed upon myself with 20 minutes, it's because I've got two little kids who it's no telling when they may wake up. So it's like, okay, I got to get out there, hurry up, 20 minutes, run back inside. All right, no one's crying. Okay, perfect. We're rolling. But some morning, come back in and someone's crying. So it is what it is. So if I would have agreed to an hour and a half, more than likely I'm not going to get that. And then I'm going to lose that momentum that's going to hopefully carry me through. So again, be realistic. But what I will tell you is that consistency will win out. Just like I talked about in my email, I don't know if it was this week or last week, I was thinking through this and I'm like, okay, if you fall off, you make a commitment to yourself on January 1 to show up, be there, do your thing, and by January 11th, you've already fallen off the wagon. You're like, what am I going to do? Well, think about it this way. If you fall off the wagon and you don't do anything the rest of the year because you get frustrated, or you decide that from February 1st to February 28th, I'm going to be our damn rock star. Like, I'm going to get this. Well, think about 28 days that you just put in that you would have never put in the past. So again, be okay with falling off the wagon. It's going to happen. Don't get frustrated. Just keep pushing, because consistency will win out every day. When you show up and you put in the work and you keep on moving. That is the key. Number 2, where is your consistency at? Is it you show up a couple days a week, you show up when you want to, you show up some days? Think about it in terms of running a call. All right. So I love, there's no better model than for consistency and showing up than running calls. Think about it. You get, from a service perspective, you're going to get 4 or 5 opportunities to show up for a customer, and you get prep periods, right? So you're not going boom, 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 boom. You get a drive to the next call. So how do we use that drive to our advantage? Do we use it listening to some knucklehead talk on the radio, or do we use it and spend a little bit of time reflecting on how the last call went, what went well, what didn't go so well, where I could get better on this next call? Now, my guess is that's probably possible on every call, but it takes showing up consistently. When we talk about installing a system, just going out of your way to take that extra step, showing up every single day, every single call. Now, is showing up on every call difficult? Absolutely. Stuff's going on in life. It's cold out. It's raining. Rain would suck. God, I can't stand rain. It makes the grass grow, but I can't stand rain. But we all have the choice. And so what does it look like for you to take complete control of all the choices that you make each and every call? What if you did that on your first call today? What's that look like? You take absolute control. I am going to be successful on this call, no matter what. Now, what if you come out of that call and you deem it unsuccessful? Well, it's only unsuccessful if you fail to learn something from what went on. Every call is not going to be, sunshine and rainbows. And that's okay. No one's expecting you to make every call sunshine and rainbows. But where you can separate yourself from the pack is to learn from every single call and force yourself to get a little bit uncomfortable, because what you just did, we just proved didn't work so well. So what little changes do I need to make? It's not like you need to scrap the whole thing, but where could I have been better? And that's okay. A lot of people don't want to look internally. They just want to blame all the exterior things that are going on in the world. And you know where those people get? Nowhere. Because guess what's always going to happen? The outside world. Guess what you can probably always do? Find an excuse. So when you show up every day, show up every single call, and understand that your mental approach to what you are tackling is your key to everything. Number 3, positive outlook. Always. Anybody ever had a negative outlook on something? Yeah. Me too. But you know what I've found is that not much gets accomplished when you've got a negative outlook. Actually, nothing gets accomplished with a negative outlook. One of the areas that I continually work on, it's easy to show up as a leader at work, right? It's easy to show up. At least for me, it's easy to show up because I've been doing it for so long. It's this is when I come through the door, I know who I need to be every day. I've conditioned myself there. Where I struggle sometimes is being a leader at home. That's the tough part. Kids screaming, pulling on me, not doing what I'm saying. No one listens to me in the house. Now that is true. I will tell you. And so I struggle to show up sometimes as a leader. I will, when we talk about coming in with a positive attitude to every call, there's parts of the day that I come into with a negative outlook because I'm waiting for nap time. I'm waiting for bedtime. Oh, God, I just want to sit on the couch. And what I have learned is that sometimes life is not working always in your favor. It's going to present you some situations that are tough. But what I do know is that when I show up as a leader at home, I'm a much better leader at work. I'm a much better leader in wherever I need to be a leader at. And it all starts there. So one of my goals for this year was to be number one dad first thing in the morning. That's my number one goal. I have to be number one dad in the morning. And what that's done for the rest of this month has just been extraordinary. And I go all in, all right, on the number one dad, because my family, you're waking up the kids, my wife's waking up, I get up before everybody else, so I've had some time to, I don't claim to, like, when I wake up, like, I feel the same thing you feel, like, oh my God, like, I don't want to go back to bed, this is awful. But you got to get going. Well, so I've had a couple hours to get going. Well, they haven't. I'm waking them up. And so to me, I've taken on the responsibility that I am going to be the leader during that 5:45 to 6:30 time frame where we're getting the kids ready and getting them out the door and getting them dressed and all this stuff. So I've got a playlist that we play in the morning. I've got get Barbie on, make it fun, make sure everybody's having a good day, because to me, that gets my day going. So where in your life can you turn some positivity into not only affecting your own outcomes, but also impacting others that are around you? It's hard being a parent. It's hard. I mean, marriage is no walk in the park. And I mean that honestly, like it's tough. And, you got to work at it, and you got to go, you have to put effort in. And to me, that positive outlook on what's going on, even as simple as like sending my wife a text in the morning, hey, go have a great day, or good luck on your pitch today, or whatever it is, all of those things build on one another. So what I ask you to do is find those moments in life where it's super simple to either be positive about something, or more importantly, lift someone up who's maybe struggling with something. That's very similar to, they're not struggling in the morning, but, they're tired. They just woke up. So where can I lift them up? Well, I found that, I forget who sings it, but the Girl on Fire song, I mean, Blake can flat rip that song. So when she hears that in the morning, I mean, it's quite frightening, actually, especially when we're in the car and she's screaming at the top of her lungs. But you know what? She's having a great time. So we're all in on that song. It's in, Sing 2, I think, is the movie that it's in. So we've watched that, I think, 1,000 times. But where in your life can you find those moments to be positive, or to spin a negative situation into a positive one? I'm sure you're all thinking about situations that may have happened this week where, like, yeah, probably could have been a little bit more positive about that. And that's okay. That's part of life. That's part of learning. It's okay that maybe you didn't handle that. I mean, I've had plenty of times where I wasn't number one dad in the morning. I was frustrated and get in the car, sit down, shut up, figure it out. And that does me no good, because ultimately that is just a trickle-down effect for what else happens during the day. And so that's been really cool. It challenge you to look, especially in your personal life, where you can do this, and the impact that you can have on others. The impact that I hope that I've had on my family is something that can snowball. And then all of a sudden, when I'm number one dad, well, then I can see my wife trying to be number one mom. And then we start to create something really, really cool. We've had some of the most, even nighttime after a long day of work and you're coming home and the kids want to play and this, that, and the other, it can be a time when you can turn negative real quick. But we've had some of the best evenings, just running around, playing, all of that stuff. And I feel like that starts from the outset of what I want the day to be. So just a piece that I would show you, or just hopefully that helps, that I've noticed in my life, where I think that's really, really helped out. Next up, 2020 vision. So obviously we'll get into this here after this, but the importance of writing that down and getting really clear on what that looks like. And so one of the most important parts of that vision that you'll read is there's a lot of feeling in there, right? Like it's going to feel like this when you walk into the building. It's going to sound like this. And so what I encourage you to do is when you're reflecting on where it is that you want to be, think about how that feels. Think about how you're going to feel. Think about how your family's going to feel. Think about how your customers are going to feel with whatever it is that you want to do, whatever you bring. And rather than just writing it down, again, think about those emotions. And that's tough to do. It's not easy the first time, trust me. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. But like, you want to manage a branch. You want to, be a field supervisor. You want to, whatever it is that you want to do. One, we want to be here to support you. But we can only support you based on how strong your vision is for where you want to go. I can't pull you there, but I can sure as hell support you. And if you've got that vision, us working together, you'll get wherever it is that you want to get. But you've got to be really clear. Motivation is fleeting, right? We talked about that. You can be motivated that first week, be motivated that second week, but that motivation will fade because there's a lot going on in everybody's life. It's tough to do. You can't stay laser focused. In fact, you probably need to take a break sometimes and just relax and then recharge and go. But if motivation is fleeting, what is it that is going to pull you through those tough times so that you keep that consistency and you keep on course? That clear vision, as we talked about, creates that consistency. It creates not the motivation, but that picture of where it is that you want to be. And when you tie those feelings to that vision, that is the strongest thing you can do. Think about that. Like, if one of your goals is in 3 years to buy your first house, don't just write, buy my first house. Get on one of the apps and find your first house. What's it going to look like? How many bedrooms you got? How many bathrooms you got? You got a big yard? You got some land? You got some woods? What is it? And write that down. And then think about the feeling of coming home from a day of work and walking into the house. What's that look like? What's it feel like? What color's your couch? How big a TV you got? You got a basement? What's that look like? Write that down. Write it down. Because that will pull you there. Start thinking big, too. If you think that, the house I'm going to buy is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and it's going to be perfect, maybe that's all you want. But what's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house look like? Why can't you have that? You can. But what I can tell you is that your chances of getting there are far greater if you start thinking about it now. Think about it every day. This is where I want to go. Maybe it's a boat that you want. Well, I'll tell you, the boat show is at the end of February. I'd go out there and look at the freaking boat that you want, get inside of it, feel it. Ask them how much it cost. What color you want. What lake are you going to go on? Where are you going to take it out? You going to go fishing on it? What's that look like? Again, once you feel that, once you can see that, it is the best motivation that you can ever have for your goals. The Vivid Vision talks about 3,000 people here in a big building and all this stuff. I've thought about what that looks like. I've thought about how many times you would have to scroll through Peterman People to find everybody. It's a lot of scrolling. But that's okay. Because if we're able to impact 3,000 people, well, that's better than what we have now. And that's our goal. If we can lift up the dreams of 3,000 people and also impact, what would that be? If you got 3,000 people, about 2/3 of our staff is out on the road, so you got 2,000 technicians. If we run 4 calls-ish a day, yeah, you're gonna walk into 8,000 homes a day. That's a lot of customers that we can make a positive impact on. 2 million. Thank you, Steve. See you out there with your calculator. I couldn't do the year. I went day. You know, that's more my train of thought there. But yeah, think about how many people that would be, and how many people we could have a positive impact on. And then we've got 3,000 people who are really clear on what home they want, what boat they want, what they want their family to look like. That's a really, really powerful place to be. That's a place I want to come into every day. Sounds fun. Will there be tough days? Yeah, absolutely. But we'll learn from them and we'll keep on moving. You know, we've got different locations in there. I've never been to half of those places. I've never been to more than half of those places. But I can imagine what it feels like. I can imagine what customers in Illinois and Michigan, what they're missing out on right now because we're not there and we're not taking care of them. And they're stuck with whatever they got in their town. Well, unfortunately, when you get really clear on that vision, you have the obligation to serve others. And ultimately, your vision, while personal things are tied to it, the ultimate place is that how many people can you impact with your clear vision of where you want to go? Like, think about it this way. So the examples we just used, a boat and a house. So if your vision is to get that boat that you want, the boat itself is not going to serve many people, right? I mean, you, your family, your buddies, friends, whatever. So that's nice. But the important thing to get really clear on is by you shooting for that, by you working that plan every single day, think about how many people you're going to impact on the way to that boat. Because you may sit down and say, I got to get really good at my job, and I got to pick up some skills here at night so I can get a promotion and then move over here and then maybe take on this responsibility and keep on moving. And then I'll be able to get to that boat. Well, think about what your personal journey is going to do to impact the lives of others. If you move up and are managing a branch or whatever it is, well, like, you're going to have an impact on all those people. You're going to have an impact on all the customers that you serve every single day. Then it becomes really real, right? Like, so I've got to get clear on my vision or else I can't serve anybody else. And that is where the power of this starts to move. So we got a vision out there of all of this stuff that we're going to do and this, that, and the other. But the real feeling that I think about a lot is how many people do we get to impact on the way there? And then obviously when we get there. But on the way there, if we're shooting for all of that, like, we got to double down on training. We got to double down on this. We got to figure out this problem in the business. We got to figure out this and get better at this and all of these things that are just going to continually lift everybody in the same direction. And if everybody's pushing towards that, that'll be a powerful, powerful thing. And we'll be there to motivate each other. The last piece is be willing to put in the work. It's nice to think about that boat. It's nice to think about that house. But what is it that we need to do today to pull us closer? Now today, positive step may just be thinking about what kind of boat we want. What's that going to look like? How long is it? Will it fit on the lake? Maybe, maybe not. We got to take it to the ocean. Who knows? Whatever it is you want. I like boats, so that's why I'm using the example. Maybe you don't like boats. I don't know. Think of whatever you like. Cars. I don't care. But what is it that you're going to have to do day in and day out in order to get there? Yeah. You have to get a little bit uncomfortable. Because what you're doing today, there's no boat in your driveway. So what do you need to do today that's just a touch different than what you did yesterday? It doesn't have to be massive. I told you 20 minutes a morning was exercise regimen. Not many people are probably going to recommend that. That's what I need. But what is it that you need to do? What is it that on a normal day you'd be unwilling to do? Get really clear on that. Get super, super clear on what it is that you're going to have to do. And what I will tell you is when you get clear on your vision, it takes far less work to get there. So what do I mean by that? When you get really clear on that vision and you work at it every single day, what did we say? Consistency wins out. So if you're only clear on your vision 20 days a year, how many years is it going to take you to get where you want to get? Long ass time. Long ass time. And so you see so many people in life waiting for something good to happen. Well, if I just, put in another couple of years, I'll probably get there. Or maybe you won't. It's the people who are clear on where it is that they want to go and they work at it every day, they will get there a hell of a lot faster. We've wrote 6 of these vivid visions. Every single one of them we've accomplished in about a year and a half. Why is that? Because we get really damn clear on where it is that we want to go. People talk about going to different locations and different stuff like that. Well, I've been really clear on that this month, and I'm already talking to 4 different companies out of state. That was a 3-year goal. But I've been clear on it this month, and so literally every day that I go in, I'm like, well, what do I need to do to get somewhere? How many letters do we need to send out? Send some more. Get them all out there. Because that's what we said we were going to do. We're going to get real clear on it and figure it out. So do that in your own life. That is what I hope that you take from this, is do it in your own life. I sat down with Russell. Some of you guys know Russell, if you're in the plumbing side of things. Sat down with Russell yesterday. He wrote out his own vivid vision, where he wants to be. And I said, awesome. Send that over to me. I want to keep it. Russell knows where he wants to go. And guess what? He'll get there. And in our world, he'll probably get there a hell of a lot sooner. Because 1, I know now where he wants to be. He knows where he wants to be. And now we can work together to get him there. Huh. Russell wants to do that. All right, well, makes my job a little bit easier because we're going to need someone there. What I'll do today is I'll go look for potential companies to partner with where Russell wants to be. Because I got a person who is super clear on where he wants to be, and I will ride with him all day long. So where is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? Whatever you're thinking right now, I want you to think bigger. I want you to think really big. When we first wrote this vivid vision back in 15 or 16, I think we had about 40 people here. Like our all company meeting looked like, there aren't 40 here, but it looked a little bit like this. Yeah. We barely fit into a damn hotel downtown just a couple weeks ago. Because we found really good people who were clear on where they wanted to go, and we worked the plan together. So if you haven't taken the time, guess what? It's never too late. Never too late. Because 99% of people out there are never going to do it. It makes the hill super easy. It's not too steep. Because you'll pass a hell of a lot of them if you take an hour and write 5 things down that where you want to go. Get clear on where it is that you want to go. And when you get clear, you'll find yourself there really, really damn quickly. But you got to be ready for it. And the best way to get ready is to start thinking about it every single day. You can do anything in this world. I'm sure when we first started out, there were people that told us we couldn't do what we do today. There's still people that say, oh, God, you're crazy. Good. The more times I hear crazy, the more I know that we're on the right track. So take the time, write it down, get clear on where you want to go. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, I would greatly appreciate if you would rate the show or share it with someone who might enjoy it. As the name suggests, we are always looking to grow, so let me know in the comments what you thought and if there is anything you would like to hear on future episodes. Come back again soon, and always keep growing out there.